So today you're going to learn some strategies on how to attract more buyers and close more deals. Who wouldn't like that? Well, these two superstars are going to take it over from here. And I believe, Kelly Jackson, we're going to have you go first. Is that correct? We got you muted, Kelly.
Gotta unmute myself. All right. Yes. All right. So I am Kelly Jackson. I service DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We also have a small team in the Houston, Texas market. And open houses are they are a waste of time if you aren't going to utilize the compound effects of consistency. And so you have to do anything in this business. So often we start looking for what can we buy, what can we do, but an open house is something that we could do that's cost effective and the ROI is tremendous on it. And it's not just, I think the ad talked about just attracting buyers. You can also attract sellers with open houses. And we're going to tell you how. So hopefully everyone has a pen and paper handy, because an open house, and especially after the DOJ settlement on the 17th, buyers don't have a buyer agency agreement. Those unrepresented buyers are going to be where? They're going to be attending more open houses. So right now is a great time to up your open house strategy and really having a solid plan. And so if you're sitting there and you say, well, I don't have any listings right now, borrow a listing from another agent. So many agents, whether it's in the neighborhood that you live or the neighborhood that you want to work in, get on the phone. Number one, it'll help you start developing some relationships with other agents in your marketplace. And number two, it's a great way. A lot of listing agents are busy. They don't have time to host their own open houses. So get them on the phone and say, hey, would you mind if I do an open house on your property? And the trick is really to start early. Don't hatch this idea on Thursday or Friday, because a lot of the things that we're going to talk about aren't going to help you maximize that open house if you do it last minute. So usually on Sunday or Monday, I like to know when that open house, whether it's me or a team member, where they're going to be hosting their open house, and what day, what time, so that now we can start with our plan to get that open house out to people. Erica, did you have anything you wanted to add before I went on?
Sure thing. So I'm Erica Lewis, and I am in the Oklahoma City market. I sell all of Oklahoma, but mainly Central is where I'm located. And Kelly actually is the one who taught me quite a bit about open house strategy. And just one thing I wanted to add is I built my business on open houses. So my first full year in real estate was COVID 2020. I did 28 closings that year, and probably 90% of my business came from open houses. I was a brand new agent. So there's definitely value in hosting.
Yes. And one of the great ways when you have an open house, and so we talked about what are those things that we can do. So starting on Monday, it has to go into the MLS so that it can populate to Zillow and all the other portals so that people actually know that there's an open house coming up. Also, a great thing to do is get together either by yourself or with another agent and door knock that community. Talk to the sellers in the community. We don't just want buyers coming in our open house. We want the neighbors to come through. And a great way to do that is to door knock them, have some flyers, have a QR code with you that they can scan. And when you do that, you get to belly to belly with the neighbors in the area and let them know, hey, on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day, I'm going to be hosting an open house. And I want to apologize right now because there's going to be a lot of traffic, because at our open houses, we expect this many people to come out. And neighbors are curious, how much is that house going for? And so we door knock our houses before the open house. We also give them a market update when we go by. So we let them know what their values are doing in that community in general. A QR code, someone asked, what do they use the QR code for? The QR code can link them to your website. It can link them to a market analysis on that community. It can lead them to sign into your website. You can use it to capture information. So
If
QR,
you use a product like HomeBot, Coach Kelly, which is one of the products that I use, I'll have a QR code that when this house sells, it's going to affect the value of your home in your neighborhood. Scan here to see what your automated value could be. And that gives me another point of entry to have that follow-up conversation when they plug their information into that QR code. And then it also will send them, throughout the year, however often I set it, it will send them updates on values.
yes. And if you don't have a product like HomeBot, you can link them to your website. And if you have Canva, Canva now allows you to take any URL and create a QR code with it. So we do a lot with QR codes using Canva, and even having that on your flyers as well for open house sign in is a great way. So we talked about door knocking the neighbors. Also, when you have that open house, and let's say your open house is from 11 to 1, 10 to 11 could be for the homeowners in the area. Let them know you're having a private showing for homeowners in the area. And that way you know that it's the neighbors that you invited. So have something exclusive for those neighbors and capture their information if at all possible, because maybe they're not even thinking about selling right now, but it's the start of that relationship. Because once you have that property pending and sold, you can reach back out to that homeowner and let them know that your open house, that you sold the property, and give them the details about it. So Erica, I want you to kind of go ahead and share your strategies, and then I'll come back to kind of a checklist that we all can go through to advertise our open houses.
So if you all are like me, I dread picking up the phone, and sometimes I dread going and knocking doors, and I want to have a purpose. And so open houses always give me such a good purpose. And it's not like I am, spamming people on the do not call list, because I'm actually calling on behalf of their neighbor, who is inviting them into their home. I have the homeowner posted in their Facebook page. I give them links for a really pretty landing page where they can say, hey neighbors, we're selling our home. Here is the link. We're having an open house. You're invited. And then in addition to that, I print off those flyers and I have the QR codes on there. One will actually show information on the home if they want to share that with their friends and family that are looking to move into the neighborhood. And the other one will tell them what their home value will be. And as Kelly said, I got out of the mindset of thinking that open houses were just to pick up buyers. I think that might shift a little bit with the changes, because we know buyers will be coming unrepresented. But my whole focus was sellers, and has been sellers for a long time. It's not uncommon for me to have 30 to 40 folks walk through an open house on houses that have been sitting for a long time. I posted several on houses that had been on market for 6, 8, 12 weeks, and then we get foot traffic in, and then it would produce an offer eventually for that seller. So the door knocking is fun because I have something in hand. I'm able to have conversations, able to invite them in personally to come and view the open house. I also pull a list of nearby homeowners, and I get phone numbers from whatever, the software I use is Redx or Vortex, whatever you use. And then I also call and invite them. So, hey, we're having an open house. I dropped by a flyer. I'd love to see you come to our open house on Sunday from 2 to 4. And then also the day after, I used that call list to say, hey, we had 30, 40 folks come through. I'm sorry that you couldn't make it. However, we can only have one buyer at this time. There are others looking to move into your neighborhood. Would you be interested in having a conversation? Or could I come by and give you a personal valuation? So what we're utilizing this is we're maximizing our geo farm area, right? So I tend to try to find homes like nearby to where I live. Hopefully, it has to be listed by an EXP agent in my state. And And then I try to find a certain range and certain neighborhoods that I love to farm. And it gives me the opportunity multiple times to get in front of the folks in that neighborhood. I did one time have a neighbor come through and tell me he told his realtor he was going to fire him because this Erica Lewis lady has so much foot traffic coming through her open houses, and he thinks he wants to hire her. And of course, it was all in just, fun, but the exposure and the visibility, if you do it the right way, will definitely make you a star in their eyes. And you're not spending a whole lot of money dropping mailers and, paying others to call. You're actually in person meeting with these folks. So as Kelly said, we start as early as we can in the week. We start with the door knock. We get the signs out. One thing that I learned is the number of signs that you have is super important. And you feel like you're going overboard, but I think for every 5 to 7 signs you put out, you can expect at least a group to come through. So it's not uncommon for me to pop out 40 to 50 signs for an open house. I know it blows your mind, right? I see some folks kind of looking. It's super important. I will line those signs up on both entryways. I'll probably do 10, maybe 30 feet apart, just leading up to the turn in. And selecting the home is important too. You don't want to have something way deep in the neighborhood that's difficult to point people to. But one of the biggest compliments I got from an open house attendee was, "Hey, man, your signs are awesome. They led me right to the open house. I wasn't even looking for open houses today. But because I saw it, I wanted to stop by and see it." So your signage is super, super important. At least getting out one good sign on a Thursday or a Friday, to let folks know that it's happening, making sure it's all over social media. I'll run little small ads on social media as well. And then the night before or the morning of, I paint that whole area with signs. So it prevents people from stealing and taking my signs. We all get frustrated with that, right? And then nobody has time to go pick up 40 or 50 signs. I'm just saying. So getting the signage out, talking to the neighbors, making a big deal, letting them know they have the opportunity to choose their next neighbor to come through, posting on social media, just trying to gather as many folks as you can to come through those doors. And so that's what we do in the preparation stages. And Kelly, I can talk a little bit more of how we follow up. But I will tell you one last thought is it's not uncommon for me to have somebody come through open house 6 months later, list with me, also buy with me, and then send their friends and other folks in the neighborhood to purchase with me as well.
And so someone mentioned in the chat that they're rural and they're lucky if they have 2 people come through. An open house, we have to change our mindset around open houses and judging how many people come through the door. Because if 2 people come through the door, that's 2 potential clients. But it's the activities surrounding the open house where you get the biggest bang for your buck. It's the video that we make prior to. So we're going to give them a sneak peek of the property earlier in the week to give them a reason. We're not going to give them a whole walkthrough. We're going to show them the best darn feature of that property early on. We're going to go to Facebook Marketplace, which is free. And if you're not using Facebook Marketplace to market your properties, you're making a mistake, because the last one that I posted on there, I got 12,000 clicks on Facebook Marketplace, and I paid $0 and 0 cents to put that up. So put your open houses on there. Make an open house event on Eventbrite, on Google, on Craigslist. There's so many opportunities, even if you have no listings of your own. Now here you are marketing a property, and you're on a job interview for future clients. They get to see how you market properties. So don't worry about how many people actually walk through the door. Worry about how many eyeballs you have on you and that property, and you're marketing through the week leading up to the open house. And that will change your business.
I love that you said that, Kelly. It's a great point, because I think one of the problems agents always have is social media content. Where am I going to come up with social media content? And an open house is a great way to all week to be putting content out. While you're there, you can go Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Shorts. You can do the whole thing. And for the TikTok generation and stuff like that, it's an incredible way to do that and make content, and it shows your sphere of influence that you're out there working. I love that you said that, Kelly, because it's not just the people coming through. It's a great point. Because how many times have you been in an open house and you get skunked and you're like, wow, this was a waste of my time, but not if you're doing all the stuff that you and Erica are talking about. That's a great point. Great stuff. Everybody on there hopefully got something out of that. I love that you said Facebook Marketplace. I'd never heard of that before. That's incredible. What a great tidbit on that. So you just go and you create a house for the price in it in Marketplace?
Yes, you put the house up, you put the address, you can put a couple pictures, a short write-up, and
Wow.
clicks, and they go into, I usually put it in 10 or 20 Facebook groups as well, local groups like the swap groups that are local to your area.
I
And
love it.
we've sold properties. We put definitely all of our investment properties go on there. We put one on there. We had what was it, a Tuesday morning or afternoon open house that had standing room only people, and it was posted on Marketplace. And it's a phenomenal tool, and it's free. I'll say that again, but just make sure when you put it on, you put it in other groups as well. So
Free's
definitely.
my favorite. That's my middle name, Kelly. Free. I love Free on that. Keith, you're a lucky man, brother. I see you married up the chain, my man. So Kelly and Erica, keep going with this frequency and consistency of open houses. I think a lot of agents, maybe their sales might be off or something like that, and they're wondering, what can I do? What can I do? You know, the gravy train is over. I'm gonna have to actually work now at this thing called real estate. How often can you do an open house? Because I'll see agents that are like, oh, I did an open house, it didn't work out. They did one for like 2 hours. How often can you do it, Erica and Kelly? What's what's an all-out number, and what's like the bare minimum agents should be doing?
Yeah, a couple of months, in my opinion, 2 to 3 a month, actually. It's not uncommon for me to host them because I have to host them on my own listing. So go ahead, Kelly.
Now I was gonna say all out is doing one every day. Listen, if you don't have any business and you have more time than money, you can
Yeah.
do an open house every day. A commuter open house is phenomenal when people are on their way to and from work. That's a great way, especially if you have a high visibility, high traffic area. Uh, an open house is also a big deal if you got a new listing. Our new listings, no one is getting in the door until the open house. That is the first opportunity to view our new listing. And that creates a sense of urgency in our buyers. We sell many of our homes at the open house. It's a value add for our sellers, and we meet clients as well. So definitely, and again, we're interviewing with the other homeowners in that area for their future business. And so every opportunity we have to do that. So we do videos early in the week. We do a video while we're at the open house, so that's additional content. We do videos showing people walking to and from the open house, especially so that people can see the crowds that are coming in. We also use it as an opportunity, as a touch for our database. So all of our past clients know that we're going to be in their area hosting an open house. Are they ready to sell right now? Maybe not. But on there, it's also an opportunity. Check your value. Here's what's going on. So it's a touch where you're not asking for business, you're inviting them somewhere. Also,
I love it. I love it. I was at a convention this weekend, exactly what you ladies are talking about. And these two top performers, they have like a real estate team now out of Chandler, Arizona, of like over 900 agents. They're like the biggest, they were the biggest team in the country, I believe, for a while. Anyways, Chuck and Angela Fazio, and they were talking about, they were doing open houses back in the day when the real estate market crashed, like in 07, 08. They were doing 25 to 30 hours a week of open houses. They did exactly what you said, Kelly. They said if we didn't have people in the car, we were at an open house looking for people who wanted to get in the car. I love it. Great stuff on that. Great stuff. So tell me about you both use social media. What should they be doing this checklist for social media? Did you have a checklist for that you were going to share, Kelly, or what was that going to be?
So yes, I do have a checklist, and and don't get scared. Don't get scared. My
Give it
team.
to him, Kelly. This is the mastermind, baby. People are on here for some knowledge bombs. Give it to him, Kelly. Hit him in the face with it.
So this is all the things like you've got to take your open houses seriously. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. It literally is a strategy that you could use, only the open house strategy, to grow, like Erica said, a very profitable and lucrative business. And so this is our checklist. And so we make sure that we schedule that open house. And I don't have the one with the days on it, unfortunately, and I don't think I'll be able to find it because my desktop's a mess. But uh, we want to make sure that we schedule the open house, we verify the time. We have print, we have QR, and we have digital media. And so we want to hit people where they are. Some people aren't tech savvy, we're going to hit them with print media. Social media, it's going on LinkedIn, it's going on Facebook, it's going on Instagram, it's going on Google. So it's going all those places. So we update Google, and on Google, we create an event. We also use Eventbrite, we use Facebook, and we use Craigslist to make sure. Also, we didn't mention slide dial. So slide dial is a very inexpensive way to announce an open house to the neighbors. You don't have time to call all of them. You may spend $30 and you may hit the nearest 200 or 300 neighbors to just let them know, to invite them to your open house. Also, circle prospecting. We call around, we let them know we just listed the property, we have an open house, we follow up. We don't call when it goes pending, and we probably should, but we call at the end and let them know your neighbor's house sold. And we give them the details. We had this many people come to the open house. It's sold for this much. We had this many offers. We want them to know exactly what it took to get that property sold. We talk about our professional photos in that, but we let the neighbors know the work that we're doing. Because remember, it's a job interview. You're putting your resume out there every time you touch that neighborhood.
Kelly, you're in the hot seat now with this. You're going to be able to make this checklist available to everybody that got on here today to grab your knowledge. You're going to let them scoop all your work, your checklist.
Yes, I will. I will.
Look at that! Round of applause for Kelly Jackson, everybody. She did all that work for us and going to hand it over.
Also, I'm going to give, and this tip here is worth coming today. It is to pull up the expired and terminated listings in the area that you're doing that open house, and contact them and let them know you're going to be in the area. You would love to stop by, invite them to your open house. And that is a great way to land some expired listings.
Good.
Who are no longer on the market because they actually see what you're doing. So pull up that list and invite them first. So I can't, if you don't do that, you're missing out. So we do reach out to the expireds, and we only post a few pictures on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, etc. So we want people to actually show up. We don't want to give them everything. We also we show the key features, drinks and snacks. Erica could talk about that. We have the house to show, and maybe some cold water if it's really hot. We don't distract people with food at our open houses, and that's a personal choice. Also, if you're going to team up with a lender, if you're going to team up with your preferred lender, make sure that that property also goes on that lender's feed as well. So it's on their social media. You want to get to their sphere of influence as well. And have a feature sheet, and have the other properties that are in the community that have been sold listed. You want to know everything you can about that community before you walk in the door. You're not just featuring that house. You're featuring yourself as a neighborhood expert. And Erica, I'm going to let you talk because I can go forever.
So I will address the food and the frou-frou stuff. I think it is okay. At more luxury type listings, I'll try to do something a little nicer. But the goal is, like she said, if you have more time than you do money, your focus is open house. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on, making this, my money needs to go into my advertising spend. But, some little mini waters and some little, biscuits of some sort is fine. And then in the yard, here's another thing. I do the ugly flags. I don't care what anybody thinks. I want that house to stick out like a
Right.
sore thumb, because it's going to look like it's something that everybody in the neighborhood wants to come to. So, a couple nights or Thursday when I put up the open house sign in the yard, I throw up flags that, streamers that go from the house to the sign. So every day people are driving by and saying, oh, that house is going to be open. Don't forget, we need to stop by there. So, and then having a lender there is important for me, number one, for safety, because I always like to have another person there at the open house with me. If it's not a team member, then at least a lender or somebody that's there. Also, they can contribute. So like when I advertise, I like to say, hey, come join us for refreshments and a gift card drawing of some sort, and the lender will usually bring that as a draw, and it helps me capture information. There have been times where we're so busy that I miss people like signing in. And so one of the things that Coach Kelly has taught me is to be a little bit more aggressive at the door, that, for safety reasons, and to let the owner know that, who came through their home, we need to capture your information long before they come in the door. And so Kelly, did you want to throw anything in there? Just
So
about info capture?
we have a notice on the door. We always, whether it's, put on booties, remove your shoes, sign in, we let them know right at the door that this is going to be required. And usually we have that set up close to them entering the property where they can sign in, and then they get to tour the house.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
So
Love it. We got a question from Ty Dubon real quick. He's got his hand up very patiently. Ty, go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, real quick. So you're gonna put, how do we get the list of this, your list of the checklist here that you do for open houses?
So I'm going to send it to the Grow Global administrators, and so that it can be disseminated.
Beautiful. So they'll probably find it on the website then, and maybe if they can get it in time, they can put the link for a Google Doc or something to download it right out of the chat, maybe. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Ty, you
Thank
found
you.
some value. You found some value in that, huh, Ty? Worth coming today.
Yeah, there's a little,
Beautiful.
there's some in value here for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Great question. I'm glad you asked that, because I was gonna squeeze it out of them too. So I'm glad you did. So thanks.
Thank you.
Beautiful on that. Go ahead, Kelly and Erica. Keep going. You guys are doing
I was
great.
just going to say, well, at the open house, make sure to greet people, but not to come off overbearing. So greet people, see what questions they have, and really be more inviting of them to the property. But ask, do they live in the area? How did they find out about the open house is a big one. And some people are the neighbors. And so you want to know that. And so even our checklist, or when we check in, we ask them if they're homeowners, if they have a home to sell before they buy, if they are currently leasing, if they're buying right now or in 12 months. So we ask some pertinent questions right on our sign-in sheet. It doesn't just ask your name, phone number, and email. It asks some other questions. So you're kind of led to a checkbox of, what is this person here for?
But nosy neighbors are just a listing interview, right? I mean, they're future listings, so they're interviewing you right there on the spot. So I try to build as much rapport as possible with the neighbors when they come in. I love it. So Erica, go ahead.
Absolutely. I just wanted to ask Kelly, sort of as we're changing with the new rules and so forth and needing buyer broker agreements, what strategies or how can we implement that into our conversations at the open houses?
And so, well, at the open house, of course, this is a great way. A lot of buyers are going to be coming in that are unrepresented because they won't be able to see houses unless they are represented, and some people aren't at that point yet. And so it's a great opportunity for us to add value to someone right in the beginning, and asking permission. Can I send you some additional properties? Because people will tell you, oh, I'm already working with someone, or, no, I'm good. And so you can actually ask them, and guess what? I send them anyway. And so Everyone gets added to the CRM. Everyone gets set up on a buyer search or a seller alert. And everyone, so after that open house, it's a great opportunity for us to make a video right at the house. Hey, Erica, it was so great meeting you at 123 Main Street today. I didn't have as much time to talk with you, but I would like to get to know more about your real estate needs. And let them know, hey, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you on, and then actually do it. And then, you can text them a link to properties, but always follow up with people and find out how you can add value to them, whether it's sending them properties, whether a lot of times we'll go over and offer to tell people what their home is worth, because
Mhm.
maybe that's going to influence what decision they make in buying another house. And so
Mhm.
there's so many opportunities from that open house, but we got to open up our mouth and ask open-ended questions while we're
Mhm.
there at the open house.
And can I
Great.
just say that, all the things that we talked up leading to the open house, just as equally important is the power of follow up and how we follow up after that open house. And I know it's exhausting. It's the end of the day. I just want to go home and pick up my signs, but that follow up and capturing those leads as quickly as possible. And in my first year, one particular example is it was the 11th time that I reached out. I had an open house and I had one couple come at the very end of the open house and I converted them into a buyer, but it was my 11th contact with them before we got to move forward with seeing homes. So the importance of following up, staying consistent, and continuing to follow up with neighbors in the neighborhood, doing that follow-up phone call the day after, saying, hey, we had a great open house. We are sorry we missed you. Would you like to set up a private tour? Could I come by and bring you a CMA for your home? Asking all of those questions and staying consistently in front of folks.
That's awesome. We had a question from Carmen. Carmen says, and I'd be interested in hearing your ladies' strategies on this, but how long do you hold your open house? How long do you hold it open?
So
I'm standard 2 to 4.
so we usually do 2 hours. Sometimes we'll do 3 hours. And we've expanded a bit to do a full weekend, especially if we have a luxury house or a house that we know there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. We'll do Saturday and Sunday.
I love it. With agents doing less and less open houses, it's actually a great time to do them because Stacey and I have been selling real estate since '97, and we always try to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, right? So when everybody was doing open houses, it was less effective. Now that very few agents are doing them, we found just using some of the strategies that Kelly and Erica have here, it's just such a better way of doing it. So I love that. So Carmen, hopefully that answered your question on that. Look, I know some agents, we do them ourselves where we'll do 4 in one weekend, 12 to 2 and 3 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday. It gives you an hour in between to pick up your signs and go to the next. And so even if one ends up being a dud, you have 3 other shots with other ones that are out there. I would recommend anybody who is not just absolutely crushing their real estate goals to get themselves into an open house. So that's great question on that. Let's see what other questions we had coming up on there. Should you provide refreshments? We talked about that on there. Keith Jackson says Kelly likes to stick to the business at hand. It's the house. That's what she wants. Kim Campbell says this is good. It's going to be on our Facebook group, and Ty, they're going to get you a copy of that. Oh, Kelly, what do you say when they do say that they have a house that they own? Caleb wants to know. So you're asking people the open-ended questions, right? You ask them if they're a homeowner already. What do you do when they say they do have a home besides jump for joy?
So inside, I'm jumping for joy. But I usually set an appointment to, and that really looks like, has anyone gone over your current home value in today's market? So, and especially I'll find out what area they live in. Oh, that's a great market. And really getting to that appointment to offer to come out. And I let them know, hey, there's no cost, there's no obligation. I can come out as early as tomorrow. You want to make it as soon as possible. I don't believe in having these long stretches of time for people to think about stuff. I want to get out there pronto. And so that gives me that day to prep, and I'm going out to their house. And we grew our business on going out and doing in-person CMAs for people. That's been our bread and butter to start that relationship. Maybe they're not ready right now, but I was the first one in there to tell them what their value was. I'm following up with them until they list. And so that would be my strategy. Another strategy we didn't mention on here was to find out what other houses are on the market that are possibly off market. So those for sale by owners, those pocket listings that you have in that community, have a list so that you can speak to buyers that come into your open house about opportunities that aren't in the MLS. That's the best way to add value to buyers, to show that you have something different that's not readily available that they can find on their own.
Love it. Great advice. Great advice. So we're talking with Kelly Jackson and Erica Lewis. Erica's out of Oklahoma. The Jacksons have been all over the country. Been there in Dallas, Fort Worth. They're over in DC. They're in Maryland, Virginia. They're everywhere on that. So we appreciate everything that you guys are giving out here. So if you have questions for them, you can raise your hand and ask a question. There's no dumb questions, because I promise you, if you have the question, somebody else has that question also. So let me ask you this question while we're waiting here, Kelly and Erica. What about putting your pictures on your signs? Do you guys do that? Do you have your mugshots on there? Absolutely, Erica. How about you, Kelly?
Yes.
So yes and no. So we are rebranding our luxury division, and we're taking the photos off of our luxury signs. We really want it to be about the house.
Love it. Ty, you have another question on you. Ty, you had a great question last time. Let's hear this one.
Yeah, what if you have a sign from another partner agent on your team? And you're doing the open house, can you use the photo of the other agent? Would that make a difference?
So that's going to be a broker question, Ty. So we have people from all over the country, and even some people from outside the country that are on here. So definitely ask your broker about that question. It's going to vary from state to state, and even, I would assume, maybe from metropolitan area to metropolitan area. Does that not answer your question, Ty?
So just go to my broker and see if that's a good strategy, or is that good?
Yes, because it's going to vary. Some states will allow it, some states don't. Like, you have to have your own sign. It's going to be different from state to state for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question though on that. Some other people would think about that. Go ahead. Somebody else had a question.
Can I throw in a quick thought?
Yeah.
I also, built a lot of opportunity on posting for builders. So builders that, are doing new construction, and maybe they don't have like a bunch of folks on their team yet that can sit at those homes. That's been a great strategy for me. And I've been able to pick up buyers, and you can host those during the week. If you need a place to call an office, you can ask a builder if you can sit in their house and hold it open the garage, put out an open house sign, and you can work inside of there during the day and capture folks that way as well.
So Erica, how do you recommend them starting the relationship with the builder rep or with the owner of the builder? How do you recommend that so they can get the opportunity for those open houses? That's a great spot.
Found that one of my biggest strengths, Kelly helped me realize this, is I can seal the deal when I'm in front of someone. So any opportunity that I have to get in front of folks, I try to maximize that. So I know in Oklahoma, we have the Central Builders Association. They have a list. I mean, I can get that list of builders. I know every builder in Oklahoma City. And just like I would do a marketing campaign, for something else, I will do that with my builders. I'll start calling. I'll recognize the ones that are, maybe not building huge amounts or numbers of homes, but maybe they're building 4 or 5 in a neighborhood. And I'll start with them and call. Yeah.
Love it. How about you, Kelly? How do you develop a relationship with builders to be able to hold their spec homes open?
So we don't here. We don't have a whole lot of new construction in the DMV, and the builders aren't agent friendly here. However, it's a tremendous strategy if you have multi-unit properties. And so we always utilize the open house strategy for our multi-units. All the way back to Chicago, we would tie up the entire neighborhood with all of the showings were back to back at the open house for the multi-unit. That way, all the units are open. You don't have that issue with, oh, this tenant is not here and that one isn't. We held it open. We tied up the whole area and we got the property sold in one day. So if you're not utilizing that for multi-units, missing out. Neighbors were like out the windows looking at us, and it got us so much business. It was ridiculous. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, doing that with multi-units.
So if I'm in DC and there's a roadblock and I can't get through somewhere, I'm blaming the Jackson team there for locking it all up, selling an entire neighborhood, an entire city block going on. Is that the deal?
It keeps everybody, it keeps the peace with the neighbors. It's just a wonderful strategy.
I love it. No, that's great. That's absolute gold there on that. So awesome. So yeah, one of the things we've done here in Ohio is if you're somebody who's like, well, I don't have any builder relationships, just walk into a model home and ask the model rep there if they co-op with agents. If I bring you a buyer, will you co-op with the agent? If they say yes, say great. I'd love to generate some business. What's your best-selling model? What's your price leader? Get with your broker as far as if you're allowed to sell payments. Look, people nowadays are buying payments, right? So typically, depending on how it works in your state, but typically they allow you to advertise a payment range, not a specific payment. That's how it works here in Ohio, where we can do it. And we get all the different things from the builder rep that we have to have in the ad that we're running on our Facebook or things like that. And they'll help us build out the ad. Some builder reps, if you bring them enough business, will actually go in on the marketing with you that you'll find, and then they'll give you a house to hold open. One of the great things you can do is if the spec home they're giving you is not already on the MLS, if your broker allows it, again, let me use the air quotes, check with your broker, but you can build a single property website for that and then advertise that property out there through Facebook, geo-targeting and things that Erica was talking about earlier. And you can advertise that and you'll get a ton of traffic coming in because it's not on the Z word. It's not on realtor.com. It's not on any of those websites. And you can have it out there and people are going to be able to find it when they're looking. Right. And so that's great.
Can
I
can
love
I
it.
add to
Go
that?
ahead,
I really
please do.
appreciated you bringing that up because one of the ways that I picked up a builder was I went and walked his home and I took my cell phone and I make TikTok videos. I use CapCut, whatever you use. And I just put together a beautiful presentation just from walking through and sent that over and said, hey, this is the kind of marketing that I can do for you on your home. Do I have your permission to share it? And then I got a listing. And then guess what? His friend called me and said, hey, I heard if I want to get my new construction sold, you're the agent to list it. So then I got another new construction listing. I brought them an offer within 3 days of listing, okay, where these new constructions are sitting on market for 3 to 6 months. And now they're asking me to hold open 10 other properties. And so I'll continue to get those listings as well. So just, yeah, the value of video and marketing and making yourself added value.
I love it. Yep. The
And
new
I
build reps can be a great source for you. That's awesome. Great job on that, Erica. What great idea. Build
So-
the social media presentation as if you're going to get the listing, build it and they will hire you, I guess, is the way that works, right? It's the
Yes.
it's the real estate field of dreams done by Erica Lewis. I'm going to copy that. That's great. Yeah, build it out and send it to them. Why not? Instead of asking, hey, can I do it? Make the advertisement. Here's what I would run if you hired me. Wow. Awesome.
It cost
I
me
love
10
it.
minutes of my time. The house was around the corner from my house. So yeah.
That's great. So smart. Wait, well done. That's gold nuggets being dropped here. Let's see what else we got here. Some great questions. Steffi
So-
Gilson says, good answer, Kelly. Have you ever targeted, Heather M wants to know, have you ever targeted renters nearby? If so, was that effective? Who wants to take that one?
Yes, we target high-end renters, especially when they can get into a property for less than they're paying in rent. So high-end renters is a big strategy of ours, and we'll invite them to our open houses as well. Renters are a great source for can you get into this property? And you can use social media for this as well to actually break down, like Jim mentioned earlier, people are shopping for payments. So if you can demonstrate what it's going to cost them to move into that property versus what they're paying in rent. And so that's usually the strategy that we employ. Now, two things I was triggered that I have forgot to mention. One was that on our Texas team, where we do have new construction, one of our team members, David, he went to the builder and asked if they had permission to market their property. He marketed the builder's property on Marketplace. The builder was running a special where you can get into a house for $1,500 down. He posted that he sold 6 properties from Marketplace. Again, how much does Marketplace cost? Free. And he was able to, so you can go in and ask them about what incentives they're offering and spell them out in your Marketplace ad. And as long as you have permission, it's something you can do. Another thing, when Erica was speaking, was FSBO open houses. And of course, talk to your broker, get the proper paperwork, because you do need some paperwork signed before, at least in our area. But as long as you can do that, you can hold for sale by owner properties open on their behalf and collect buyers that way. You
And
can
convert them to listings. I convert lots of FSBOs to listings from hosting open houses for them.
Yes. So
you contact a for sale by owner and say, hey, would you be interested in me if I generate a buyer from an open house I have there? Would you be interested in paying a buyer agency fee? Because I'm not trying to list your property.
Yeah,
How
the
do you go?
conversation goes a little more just like, hey, I see that you've got your home listed for sale. Do you have any current offers on the table? And that, if they say no, then I just learn a little bit more about their home. And I'm not going to promise you to bring a buyer, but as an agent, I'm really interested to know if I were to bring a buyer, are you offering, compensation to that agent? And so the more I have that conversation with them, I try to add the added value. Well, listen, I know that most agents are asking to list your home. I know you're sick of us calling. Would you be open to allowing me to do some free marketing for you? And if the answer is yes, then could I stop by later on today to just walk through and do a video? And then sometimes I just go straight for the open house. Would it be okay if I hosted an open house for you this Sunday to see if we can get some foot traffic through there and maybe draw out an offer? And by that time, they've already let me know that they're going to pay a compensation. And so I converted a for sale by owner not too long ago, just, through conversation and added value. So.
That's great. Camille gives us the celebration emoticon that's on there, emoji. Laura from Chicago says this has been some fresh new ideas. Thanks, Kelly and Erica. So I know Laura's been doing open houses a long time too on that. And any other questions? Anybody got a question or comment out there, or a success story that you've had with open houses? I think a lot of times, you hear agents saying, oh, they're a waste of time or something like that. But they're only a waste of time if you're doing one that's not effective. An effective open house is absolutely worth your time. Ty, you've had some great stuff, man. Keep going.
What's just one real quick question here? What's that compensation that the last agent just mentioned regarding when you're doing a FSBO open house? How do you get the compensation? Is that saying you're requesting it from the FSBO person to pay you to open the house? Is that how it works?
So again, I think it's important to talk to your broker to make sure that you do the correct paperwork. But in my case, I have a compensation agreement already signed that if I bring a buyer as a result of the marketing efforts that I'm doing for that home, whether before or after, if I'm writing the offer, that they're going to pay me whatever that amount is that we agreed upon.
So
Okay.
I tweaked the language a little bit on what Erica said. And so my first communication with them is the property still available? And the second thing that I say is when we talk about compensation, I have my value in there. Are you willing to pay X versus A? They're not paying me A, they're paying me what I'm worth. And so it's very important to put that in there. Are you willing to pay blank commission when I bring you an acceptable offer? And that language will get you in the door. And then my next statement is, can I come out on Tuesday at 4, or would Wednesday at 10 work better for you? So it's that either or choice. And so that's kind of the order that we go in. And then, you know, sometimes we'll get some pushback. And I don't ever tell someone, hey, I've got a buyer. If I don't tell them that. But what I do tell them is that I have a database of over 4,000 people, and that with me putting eyes on the property and being able to come out and walk, I can now speak to those clients. A lot of my clients are military and relocation. They're not here. I'm their boots on the ground. Again, can I come out and see the property? And so, and then once we get there, then we start talking about ways that I can help them, maybe an open house. And I'm letting them know, hey, it's going to help you and me, because I get to hold the house open and I can invite all my clients that are in my database. So it's not just about them. It's not just about holding this house open and I'm trying to solicit their listing. I'm actually using it to invite my clients out to take a fresh look at a property that isn't part of the MLS.
Love it. That's great. We're talking with Kelly Jackson and Erica Lewis. We do these talks every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Pacific. In fact, next week, what we've got coming up for you, a special treat for you on August the 12th, Monday, noon Eastern Standard Time. We've got Stephanie Gillison. She's going to be talking about how to keep calm and conquer. What's that?
She might even be on. Maybe Steph can jump on and.
Oh, maybe she is on here. But she's going to be talking about mastering the NAR changes and coming out on top. There's a lot of people panicking over that. But Stephanie, if you are on here and you want to give a little promo, if you're not, no big deal if you're not on here. But if you are, jump on and unmute. Give us a little idea what you're going to be doing. For those of you who don't know, Stephanie's been doing business since back in 1997. Last year, she had over $1 billion with a B, not a million, $1 billion in listings that she and her team selling. She sells globally, and she is definitely on top of what's going on with NAR. She's going to be here to calm you down. In fact, Stephanie's here right now. Stephanie, you want to give a little promo of what we're doing next Monday?
I am. And so we're going to talk about scripts. You know, how do you approach this? Because I look at this as an absolute excellent change to our industry to better suit who we are going forward and to state exactly what our value is. In commercial real estate, we've been doing business the way you all are having to evolve and change your residential business. We've been doing this forever. Right? And so we're going to talk through, what are those strategies? How do you ensure that you get paid? How do you state your value? What are the scripts? Everything necessary so that those changes, some are already making those changes this week. Some are happening in the next couple of weeks, but we're going to hit it face on. So bring your questions, bring your concerns, bring any challenges. Let's role play. Let's handle objections. Let's handle everything that you're going to be faced with. It's already starting to happen. And the great news is I had 20 plus years experience on the commercial side that I'm already speaking these conversations, and now we're going to share them all with you all. So invite your friends too, because this is something I spend a lot of time reading misinformation out there on social media at all these different real estate agents. And I just say, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Let's not say bless your heart to any of us. Let's be better than that. And let's go win. Okay. See you all next Monday.
Beautiful. Next Monday at noon. It's going to be well worth it. Bring a friend, somebody who's panicking. Oh, the sky is falling. Just know the sky is not falling. This too shall pass. And that you'll be in real estate long enough, you're going to see a shakeup every couple of years of something coming on, some regulation, some change. And so you'll get used to it. And then 5 years from now, you'll be the person telling all the other people that are panicking, don't panic. This is just another change that's going to come. And we're going to continue to have those in our industry, as every industry is doing. So we've had a great job today by Kelly and Erica. Ladies, anything you want to add before we wrap up here and send these folks off about open houses? You've shown us the value. It's absolutely worth it. You've shown us how simple it can be to do an effective one. Anything you want to add before we jump off?
Consistency. The compound effects of consistency are tremendous.
I'm going to add that checklist can be a blessing and a curse. So it's great stuff to do. But you got somebody holding your feet to the fire. Get ready.
Right. Yeah. If you're going to put your time into being there, why not do all that work up front to make sure that it's an effective one? That's great. Erica, anything you want to add before we jump off?
I just agree with Kelly. Consistency is key.
Yep, beautiful. So great job, ladies. Everybody unmute. Give them a nice round of applause and thank you for sharing their information. Kelly giving away the checklist, the blessing and a curse, according to Keith. So having a little accountability on that. So we're going to be back next Monday to talk about NAR. It's going to be great. Don't forget, we've got the website. We've got the Facebook group. Go ahead and join there. Instagram, follow us on there. Follow us on YouTube. You can go there and you can search for all kinds of stuff that we've talked about. We record these and put them on there just in case it's good.